Hi, my name is Kelsey Elliott. I'm going to be presenting my 8.2 final project submission for Log Cabin's CSR strategic plan. I chose Log Cabin because it is where I currently work. I've been bartending here for about 8 months, and I previously worked for the parent company, Grand River Ventures, for roughly 2 years at their other restaurant, Two Fogs Pub, as well. They own 7 restaurants along Grand River, including Bloated Goat, Lucky's, Wranglers, Two Fogs, Champs, New Hudson Inn, and Log Cabin, obviously. While Log Cabin has only been under their ownership for 3 years, it does have a deep history in Livingston County that includes multiple owners, a fire, and rebuilding over the past 60 years. Internally, there's definitely a very strong sense of community. As a bartender, I see many of the same regulars every single day, every week, multiple times a week, a lot of people that I see every month. There's a very, very strong community, and we all really, know each other well. And it really gives a great base for us to build on for this project, I think. There is definitely clear room for improvement with what they have right now, but like I said, I think there's a really strong foundation to build upon. So going into some proposed partnerships that I think would be great for Log Cabin, I went through and found some places local to Howell, including Cleaners Community Food Bank. They support Livingston County through food distribution, nutrition education, and pantry partnerships. One idea I had for them was that we can maybe do like a quarterly dinner for a cause, where a small portion of each entree goes towards Cleaners. Would give people a great way to give back where they're already spending their money. We could also donate unused food or surplus of vegetables from our garden to their pantries. The Salvation Army of Howell is also a great option. They offer food pantries, holiday meal boxes, and family assistance. And like a visible pay it forward meal board would be a great play off of what they're already doing that would allow people to, see a way that they could give back to their community while, spending time in our restaurant. 242 Community Center is just down the road for us, and they have strong outreach programs and could possibly partner with us on volunteer events like cleanups or community meals. We could possibly offer space for workshops. There are also a lot more opportunities with different nearby businesses that probably are building off of the same exact communities. A lot of the same people, probably regular, both of our establishments such as Southern Shaved Ice, which is an ice cream shop that's right on the same lake, serves a lot of the same community. Same with the golf course, which is on the other side of the lake, and the marina, which serves all the boats that are in the lake. We see a lot of customers that walk from the neighborhoods that are on the lake or bring their golf carts, and a lot of that community, their meeting place is our restaurant. Looking more into the culture and mission development, like I said, Log Cabin is really in that Lake Chemung community because a large portion of our regular customer base does live on the lake, so that gives us a great foundation to go off of. Unfortunately, past outreach efforts, like our recent parking lot party, did not generate very high engagement, so there's definitely some room for improvement on places that we could do better on with future events. I feel like this probably suggests a need for stronger alignment between our outreach efforts and what the regulars really value and what they would like to see. I think that any community engagement strategy should tie back directly to our core strengths, which is our good food and service. Everything should probably still align with that in order to keep everything connected with the brand and not risk being seen as separate from the restaurant's identity. I feel like the Dinner for a Cause initiative would be great with aligning a way to give back while still tying it to our food and our service and, helping to build up our brand identity in the meantime while we're doing this. I think gathering feedback from the regulars can ensure that we have buy-in from everybody and everybody's interested moving forward and can really reinforce Log Cabin's role as a true community staple. Looking at hiring goals, from my perspective as an employee, Log Cabin leadership has expressed a desire to create positive and supportive work environment, but frequent manager turnover has made that really hard. Having that new person come in, it is a difficult role, and it really makes it hard to create a cohesive team. While management has been open to feedback, there's often a lack of meaningful action, and real response usually doesn't follow what maybe the plans are. This has led to a lot of unresolved conflicts, a lot of friction and frustration among the staff, which is possibly causing a disconnect, and it's going to lead to, low buy-in from the staff, disinterest on upselling extra events that probably aren't making the staff extra money as much. I think moving forward, internal culture plays a major role in how well we'll be able to engage with the community. I think initiatives like the Dinner for a Cause Night or lake cleanups require staff support and enthusiasm. With low morale, these efforts can feel like an added burden rather than a shared mission, which I think is why it's important to really reshape the culture in order to move forward. I think many employees still share the vision of excellent food and service, but managed practices are definitely a barrier to getting there. So that will be a big thing that we'll need to definitely figure out. By strengthening leadership, improving accountability, and increasing transparency, I think we could really, get ourselves there. In order to move forward, we should definitely address those operational and cultural issues, go over ways to have better accountability and have the employees really feel the transparency, and create strong expectations for everybody to know what they can expect. Looking more into the success of our community program and how our staff members will play a role in that, while everybody has a valuable skill, front of house staff and management are especially important for this. Front of house employees definitely interact with the customers daily more. They build these strong personal relationships, and that's going to be really important for pulling this community outreach off. These relationships definitely make them the ideal ambassadors for these charity nights, partnerships, and community events. They do also have a deep knowledge of the community and can help find meaningful local connections that can help drive these events and really make them happen. So they will be very important for this movement going forward. So figuring out how to kind of align our talent with our strategy, I think management will play a very important role. Their role will definitely be mostly just to organize and coordinate these events and take this head on. Their responsibility is to ensure that these fit naturally into the everyday operations and don't, make it more difficult to do any other aspects of our job. I think a clear CSR strategy will help us align employee efforts with the company's existing values. And when outreach really reflects those values, it'll feel a lot more cohesive. I think including employees in the planning process could also really increase the buy-in and make them feel like this is something that they've been a part of as well. These efforts can improve our teamwork and boost overall morale as well if people feel that they are getting to be a part of it, and it could really reinforce our role as a community-centered restaurant as well. I think that local relationships are really at the heart of this, and that's why it's important to really maintain that and place that in the priority spot and understand the important value that it holds in this. Moving forward and looking at the resources that will be needed for completion, we will definitely need both financial and internal resources to pull something like this off. While I don't have exact budget details of what they have available, Log Cabin would likely be able to cover basic needs such as staff training, planning meetings, and management oversight of using existing funds. These resources are essential to ensure outreach initiatives are organized, consistent, and aligned with daily operations. I think low-cost marketing materials such as signage or social media promotions would also be necessary to communicate these initiatives to the community. Overall, the goal is to use the existing resources before seeking additional funds and just try to exhaust that measure first. Looking beyond our internal resources, there are multiple realistic other plans outside of just paying for it ourselves. Another opportunity would be applying for local grants offered by municipalities that support community development and engagement. This could possibly be something that, we could fall into that category, and this would also create great opportunities to collaborate more closely with local government and community leaders, and maybe even possibly figure out what type of outreach they're interested in and what would really be needed, and possibly align our goals more with that as well. These grants would be a great opportunity, and this would definitely be worthwhile looking into. There also would be a possibility of forming charitable partnerships with nonprofits such as local food banks, youth organizations, environmental groups, or other options. This could possibly help us share the cost and expand our reach as well. These would definitely make donation nights and community events more possible, especially if we were to pursue options such as like late cleanup days. It would be a great option to get other businesses involved and create it into something bigger. By combining these internal funds, grant, and partnerships, Log Cabin could definitely create a dedicated outreach budget and strengthen its community impact greatly. Looking at the overall outreach plan, as I reflect on these questions from the beginning of this project, my view of Log Cabin hasn't changed significantly. There's still a lot of room for improvement in terms of meaningful community contributions, certainly. While there have been some marketing initiatives, they haven't really translated into real social impact. But like I said, there's a great foundation. Our patrons really create such a strong community. We really do have a great place to build off of. By embracing this outreach as a part of our core identity, the restaurant can truly strengthen their reputation and give people a new reason to engage. I think looking at the actual pen-to-paper plan, it would be a great idea to start with a small number of outreach events to gauge interest and community response. Simple promotions like temporary signage, cross-marketing with partners could help ensure that we have a great turnout. Dinner for a cause, buy a meal, give a meal nights. These feel like really low risk, high impact ways to start out and just gauge where we're at with the community. I think it makes sense to fund these internally before pursuing grants or larger funding opportunities, just to see how they start to go and to give us a great base to provide if we do end up wanting to move forward with grants or other opportunities. I think once successful, these initiatives could really be integrated into regular operations, such as monthly recurring events, and hopefully would be a great example for the whole community on how to give back. A restaurant this size definitely doesn't need to dive headfirst into something like this, but I think, keeping consistent and incorporating this into little things throughout our mission is a really great way to show the community that we care. Thank you for listening.